We're going to kick you in the teeth. All right. And when you punch us back, we're going to smile at you. And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off. All right. And we're going to stand up. And then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down. All right. And on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap and we're going to get up. And then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing. All right. That's going to be the mentality.
A lot of penalty flags, a lot of fines imposed, and eventually suspensions for physically removing kneecaps without anesthesia from opponents. But that was Dan Campbell with his SNL-level introductory press conference, Charean. What do you think his impact is really going to be once things settle down and presumably he's not coaching up players on how to remove kneecaps with their teeth?
I think the players are going to love him, Mike, but it's going to take a while there. This is just not a very good roster right now, which is why he got the long-term deal. He has time to build the program that he wants to build. They think they have the quarterback. I know Brad Holmes really believes in Jared Goff. If that's the case, they have a good starting block, right, to try to rebuild this thing. But they have a lot of problems, offensively, defensively. Where you want to start? I think you pick the best players at this point to come in and help you.
And I think the fact that they gave up Matthew Stafford, they brought in a Jared Goff who is clearly at an early career crossroads, and you didn't get significant compensation for Stafford this year. They are rebuilding. They have convinced the powers that be that this is going to take some time, and Campbell has a 6-year contract. That's more like an anti-dysfunction contract to show that they're not going to keep spinning the revolving door on coach with another and another and another. But if it's a disaster, they will. It's a cost of doing business. You pay the balance of the contract and you move on if it comes down to it. Between Dan Campbell and Chris Spielman, a couple of former players, it's an interesting way to approach the game. It will be old school. It will be hard-nosed. They will be preaching rough and tough and gritty. And we'll see how it goes. I'm not going to rule out anything because sometimes the one thing that is so different from everything else works just because no one else is used to it. Everybody else has gone in a different direction. Maybe a throwback to the days where it was a lot more physical and a lot more violent and a lot more rough and tumble. Maybe that'll be disarming in a positive way for the Lions, even though guys will be fined and guys will be suspended if they play that way, Charean.
And I think they're going to play hard for Dan Campbell. I do think they'll play that way. I think they're going to be hard hitting, and we'll probably see some flags for the hard hits that they deliver. But this is going to be a team that you're going to, be looking over your shoulder when you play them for sure, because I do think they're going to play hard and they're going to play rough and they're going to be tough. And they're going to play to the end, and they're going to play to the whistle and maybe sometimes beyond the whistle. But I do think they will play hard, Mike, and I just don't know how that converts to wins because I don't think there are many of them there, but I don't think they'll go 0-16 either. I think that toughness and that mentality and all of that playing hard, I think it does to convert to some wins. They're not going to have another 0-16 season.
They definitely won't go 0-16. There is a chance they'll be 0-17, though. So there's a new barrier for the Lions to cross if they choose to do it. Jared Goff, the new quarterback. On the surface, I don't see an instant personality blend between Goff and Dan Campbell. Do you think Goff is the long-term answer, or is this just we need a quarterback, we were willing to spend the money and burn up the cap space to get 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick in the Matthew Stafford trade? I mean, do they really think this is a guy they're going to build around?
I think they find that out this year, Mike. It's kind of a let's get to know you type year. They don't expect a whole lot. I mean, what if they go out and win 6 games, 7 games, and are right around the 500 mark, which they didn't expect to be? I mean, I would expect this team to win 4 or 5 games. If they win way more than that, maybe he is your quarterback of the future. I mean, he does have a winning record in the league. That's hard to do. I don't care what team you're on. It's still hard to do over the course of the career to be 42-27. And this guy has started in a Super Bowl. So he's got some things that you like. So I think this is kind of a feel me out year to see if it works. But I also don't rule out that they're going to draft a quarterback, Mike, that maybe that's their guy of the future.
And keep this in mind when the schedule comes out in April, as it usually does. 4 road games for the Lions this year: Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Chicago and Green Bay, the potential to be cold weather, and we've seen in the past that Jared Goff isn't a big fan of. Although he acquitted himself well in his last game with the Rams, it was out in the elements in Green Bay, and it didn't seem to have the kind of impact that the game in Chicago did a couple of years ago. All right, let's go through the who's in, who's out. Charean, give me one name of a guy that you think the Lions will target.
A guy that the Lions will try. I'm going to go all Williams. Since my last name is Williams, I had Marcus Williams and Jamal Williams on my list, but I'm going to go with Marcus Williams. You know, they don't have a ton of money to spend. They're not going to spend a ton on free agents, but I think he would be a guy maybe that you spend a little bit more on, and he will help fix some things that you didn't have in your secondary. Since you traded all your good players out of the secondary, but he'd be great for Jeff Okudah, who they used the 3rd overall pick on last year. I just think he would fit what they want to do in Detroit. And I had Jamal Williams too, because I think he would pair well with Swift, which I know they're looking to do, and he would pair better with Swift than say Adrian Peterson did.
For me, I engaged in some high-level film study and analysis from mine. Matt Milano, a Bills linebacker. Hey, Chris Spielman was once a Bills linebacker, and if anybody on the field is going to be biting off kneecaps, it's going to be a linebacker. So I could see the Bills or the Lions with Spielman having an all-linebacker defense, a bunch of hard-nosed, tough guys who will bite off your kneecap, and if they are successful, it will make it easier to defeat the opponent. All right, who's out?
Sticking with the Williams theme here, Nick Williams is going to be out. 2021 cap hit of $5.7 million. They can save $4.7 million against the cap. He had 13 starts this year, played in 14 games, 23 tackles and a sack. Mike, that's not enough for the salary he's supposed to make. You can say bye to Nick Williams for this year.
Yeah, and with T.J. Hawkinson being such a good tight end, I think the Jesse James era in Detroit will be over. Also, they got to do something about running back because DeAndre Swift has worked out. So it's either going to be Kerryon Johnson or Adrian Peterson. See you later. And I could see the Lions being attracted to the concept of keeping a guy like Peterson around because of the leadership he brings to the table.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.